Yolan True and welcome to another exciting day in our galaxy. And today I want to answer a question that comes regularly. We don't have an invasion event at the moment, but still people ask me a lot, what crew are you using on the Chimaeras? The problem with crews sometimes is that you can never present one crew for everyone, because a lot of crews, especially you will remember that from the silent enemies, the crews really also depend on your ship power and of course the availability of the officers, but also really on your ship power. A crew that works for me with my ship powers on my silent enemies might not work for you at all. Well, still, the question came so often, so I will answer the question today, what crew I'm using on the Chimaeras. And the most important part here is the bridge crew. And those you can see here in one of my presets. In this case, it's preset 12. That's Kathryn Janeway, it's Khan, and it's Dajash Tolra. And we will have a quick look at these officers and why I'm using them, if I can get out of here. So let's quickly go to the officers and sort that by name so that we will more easily find them. There's Kathryn Janeway. She's my captain here on the Chimaeras. Her captain maneuver, the red alert, and raise shields. When you take hull damage from a non-player hostile or armada, Kathryn Janeway increases your shield mitigation by 6% for 1 round. And that's cumulative. That's one part that helps me survive a bit longer. But what I really need is her officer ability then added to this, bend the rules. Because at the start of combat, Kathryn Janeway increases your isolated cascade damage by 15% against non-player hostiles and armadas. And for the Chimaeras, the important point is the non-player hostiles, because the Chimaeras are not armada. So with a normal armada crew, I will not be very successful here. Otherwise, I would use Chakotay and the Chakotay crew with Kathryn as an officer on the bridge, but still with Chakotay. But that is not the point here. I need the abilities against non-player hostiles. Then I am using Khan, and I'm using his officer ability, of course, for critical damage. Every time the ship is hit by a ship or a defense platform weapon attack, Khan increases the critical hit chances by 4%. That's also cumulative. And if your critical hit is triggering, then the cascade damage is higher as well. Because cascade damage, you will remember, multiplies all your damage, and that includes the critical hit damage. And that's why, despite wanting critical hits anyway, the cascade damage is even getting that higher. And I was using a different combination earlier, but they brought in some Chimaera officers, and I just need to have a quick look how they sorted her in. Then they have sorted there under D. Sometimes they sort them by first name, sometimes by last name, and that's always a bit complicated to find them then, because you never know what they do. But there's Dajash Tolra, and I'm using her now with the ability, with her officer ability, no lock doors, because she has a 40% chance to increase base weapon shots by 100% every round against armadas and invading entities for 2 rounds. And the Chimaeras are invading entities, and that is why I added her. And since I got her, I changed the crew a bit, as I said, and have her on the bridge now. So I'm using Kathryn Janeway, Khan, and Dajash Tolra. Below deck, you've seen on the preset, I'm using the Doctor to get a little bit more loot. But I'm also was using B'Elanna Torres, because I was using the Rotaran that needs hull breach. When I'm using the Enterprise, I will have to use Harry Kim and so on. And of course, I use all available officers that increase critical hits or critical hit damage and isolatic damage against hostiles. And that's the important part. You have to find the officers you have against hostiles. And that's why I don't show the below deck too much, because that's changing depending on the ship I'm using. And it's always the point when we're talking about crews, why it's easier for me to say which ones I'm using than what is the best crew for this. In some cases, we have a best crew. That's like PMC before you go to Ops 50. But in other cases, it's really so depending on your ships. It's so depending on which officers do you have. So when people ask me, what crew can I use? I usually would have to say, well, I don't know. I don't know what officers you have. I can say which ones I recommend for you at that moment and on that level. But if you don't have the officers, then it won't work. And that's always a problem. And in some cases, when you don't have officers of any kind of this at all, you will have to wait to do those events or new hostiles or whatever until you have them. We had those cases in the comments already. But in this case, I was always asked what crew am I using, and now you've seen them. And I'm doing quite well. I can do the level 60 Chimeras in when we have invasion event, and that works quite well for me with that crew, and I'm quite satisfied for that. But they are working for my ship power. You will have to see if you have all three officers here, if they would use for your ship power as well, because that often is a case that my crew is not working for everyone. And we have the same, that we are using different silent enemy crews in my alliance, very depending on the ship power. Although everybody would have the same officers, but they cannot use the same officers. But this is what I'm using, and you can give it a try and see if they are fit for you as well. And if you did try, please let me know in the comments if they're working for you. And of course, you can also tell us what crew you are using against the Chimeras, either in the comments below the video and or on Discord, where everybody is welcome too. And if you want to see another video right now, the next one is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.